Hi, your stream is muted, by the way. I just was curious and looked at the YouTube video. I can't hear anything. I was like, oh,
That
cool, he's streaming, and I just couldn't hear anything.
okay. Let me start over.
Hi, your stream is muted, by the way. Oh, no, wait, I can hear myself on the stream. I just can't hear you.
Yeah, I just fixed it. Thank you.
All right, excellent.
Apparently, the OBS, I hate you. Okay. Aloha and welcome to today's episode of Mystimon the Hidden Archives, a tale of horror and mystery. Don't you love when OBS likes to screw with me? Powered by Pathfinder 2nd Edition and Mystimon Saga. If you would like to learn more about Mystimon Saga, please visit the link in the description below. First off, I would like to shout out my players that I'm joined by today, starting with Bippy, our newest player.
Hi. I said the stream would have heard me say this earlier. Hi, I'm Bippy's a funny internet name I go by. My name's Joy or Navia. I like names. I'd collect them like Pokemon if I could. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm happy to be here.
And Bastille.
Greetings, I am Bastille, otherwise known as Binary. As you know, I play the automaton Bastille, that is a living metal automaton. And Binary is the only name you'll ever get from me. Deal with it.
Of course. Firecat.
Hi, I go by Josh. I am playing Ryson, the Dragula cleric.
And Soma.
I'm, IRL name is L. Character name is Soma. I am the Alopeke witch.
Awesome. And we'll be joined by at least one of our co-GMs later. So, when we last left our investigators, you had been invited after your recent escapades in discovering a brand new Mystimon called the Vamprawl. You were invited to meet with the King of Atlantia in his castle in Conaset. Some years ago, the undead kings and their hordes of undead ravaged across Atlantia, and much of the western reaches had to be abandoned until now. Now the king of Conaset wished to finally make some headway on rehabiting the western reaches. And so he has sent our investigators to scout out the western reaches, starting with the Hilltop Valley in the northwestern peninsula. And as you arrived, you decided to send the NPCs. You were joined by Kyrene, Crystal, Ira, Kuoi, and Kyrene's son, Hyokun, and his girlfriend, Gracianne. You decided to send Crystal, Ira, and Kuoi up in the airship to scout out the area from above, as Kyrene headed out on her own, and Hyokun and Gracianne headed out on their own, because they seem to have some personal business in this area. And as you were going in, as you were starting to enter the town of Hilltop City, Soma had the remarkable idea to cast a spell to scout out the area ahead. And as you were walking in, you were greeted by a man in a red trench coat and a top hat, with his hands leaning on a cane. And he he said, he said to you, "The history of this place, quite interesting indeed. You know, the boy, he isn't the first survivor of trauma here. Oh yes, there were others before. Curious that he would even come back here. The others, they never return. I could remedy that. I would take great pleasure in killing the girl as he watched, then slice his abdomen so he dies as slowly as possible. Ah, what an exquisite way to hurt that telepath woman who seems to delight in confounding me. Oh, I'm sorry. I am afraid I haven't introduced myself to some of Kyrene's new mice. I am Zolgoth Alduin, at your service." And he gives you a bow. What do you do?
Do I recognize that name in any capacity?
Make me a recall knowledge check. This could be occultism,
Okay.
and this is going to be secret, as is all recall knowledge checks. And all of you may also roll if you wish. Give a moment for other players to roll
Yeah.
if they want.
No problem.
And Bibby's character hasn't yet joined us, but we will introduce them.
You said it was just int roll? Or occult.
Occultism and secret.
Speaking of my character, as a heads up, I'm currently apparently playing as the Bag of Negos right now.
I don't know how.
How do I set myself as my own
Go
character?
right-click your
Just
name.
bag.
Right-click your name in the players list, and then we're going to click release character, and then you want to click
Oh, I see.
your character.
Hold on. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
well, Ryson, I'm going to say you don't recognize the name at all.
Okay.
You still need to fix your attributes. I just noticed.
I just fixed them, actually.
Okay, you can go
I just
ahead.
don't have an int.
You can go ahead and re-roll that then.
No, as I fixed it beforehand. I just don't
Oh.
have an intelligence bonus.
Okay, so you don't have an intelligence bonus. Okay. And you're also untrained. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Bastille and Soma. Yes, you very much do recognize the name. You recognize the name because his name has actually been in the papers a lot lately. Because the Magic Guard has... the Magi Guard are like the police state of the world. They're like an international police, and they have started to gain a lot of interest in Zolgoth because they're starting to link him to several of his crimes, including several serial murders, and I mean several. He's so far been linked to at least 100 serial murders. He is a very prolific serial killer, and scholars, psychologist scholars have kind of done interviews with newspapers on his psyche. And I'm only giving this much information because Soma rolled 35. She rolled a critical success.
Nice.
And it has been established that I am an avid reader of newspapers.
Yes, apparently. You have read that psychologists have done interviews with these papers, and they have said that if they were to diagnose this man, they would say that he is a psychopath and a narcissist. And he is probably one of the most dangerous men to walk Tirana.
So my question's more directed at, do I remember him in any capacity?
Yeah, Bastille has heard of him.
Not heard of him.
You have heard of him. Bastille has heard of him.
I'll message you.
Ah.
Yes, that's what I'm asking about.
There is a tinge of familiarity there.
Okay.
So, what do you do?
You are Zolgoth.
Yes, I am. Please don't wear out my name. I wouldn't want to have to buy a new one.
So why are you here?
If
Oh, why am I here? Oh, many reasons. Though I must confess, I haven't the time to list them all. I'm on a schedule, you know. And he, checks his watch.
How do we know you?
Pardon? I don't know you at all.
Familiar.
If I hurt you in any capacity, I must apologize. I don't remember you. I tend to, not remember many of my victims.
Don't know how.
Does Selma say anything?
I think Soma is kind of actually trying to fade into the back a little.
Okay, she doesn't want to get too close to a psychopath.
A little bit. I'm also just kind of like assessing right now and trying to just figure out why he has engaged with us
As
without attracting attention.
all right, as Bastille is kind of kinking out there, trying to figure out how he knows Zolgoth. Zolgoth says the trauma in this place, it runs deep, deeper than you know, and in many ways it never truly healed, like me. But you know what they say: whatever doesn't kill you makes you crazier.
So if you have a schedule, then why are you just sitting here talking to us? Shouldn't you be going somewhere?
Are you here to kill us?
Oh, perish the thought. Not yet. You have some things in mind. And I will be wanting them back at the prescribed time. I believe you're hiding them on your little ranch, if I'm not mistaken. But you can hold on to them for now.
I don't think any of us have been to the ranch.
Nope.
Mhm.
Bastille and Ryzen have. We haven't been in there in an episode, but you have been there between episodes.
Okay.
What's there that is yours?
Oh, you know, a couple of keys, a knife, though I have several knives. The usual. I believe an old friend of yours had an obsession with collecting items of mine.
I do not have old friends yet.
Oh, it was it was so very entertaining and enjoyable killing your friend. I believe his name was Bifrost. The greatest entertainment on all of Terramana, I say, for I got to kill him again and again. I don't usually get the pleasure with most of my victims.
Unsure who that is.
In your time on the ranch, you have heard quite a lot about Bifrost. There is actually a statue in the center of the main foyer that is dedicated to Bifrost because he made a real impact on the Hidden Archives before his passing. And Selma, you would have heard about him through the newspapers, as per usual.
Did I hear? Would I have heard about his death?
Yes, yes, there
This
was
is this
actually
is someone who I know is dead.
there was actually an obituary in the papers.
Is this
Do I remember
your
anything
home?
about the circumstances around that?
um, you know that he was murdered by Zolgoth.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Is this your home?
My home? No, perish the thought. Perish the thought. My home looks much nicer than this. And he looks around at all the rocky ruins and the debris and how nature has basically retaken the city almost.
This, not here, this area. the valley.
Oh, no, no. Though there is something that does make its home here. I would beware the woods here, you know. There's something here. Something very angry. Much angrier than me. Unless you would like to die, though I fail to see where the fun is in that. All that would do is rob me of the pleasure of healing on myself, but which would be no fun at all. None at all.
Then why do you care if we or others occupy it?
You can say, I've come to warn you. There
Of
is
the
something.
forest creature?
Oh, yes. There is something in those woods that you should beware of. Something perhaps deadlier than me. And that's saying something.
If you're just going to try to be vague and not really tell us anything of value, can you just go already?
Oh. Yes, yes. Oh, as he checks his watch. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. I would love to continue this chat.
I would not. He's been visibly upset ever since he mentioned victims. Ryson has.
Yeah, I bet. Zolgath says, I would love to continue this chat, but much to do and I am late. Ta-ta for now. And he disappears
Before-
in a shadow.
Uh,
Soma?
no, he's gone.
He disappears just before you could say something. Now,
So none of you have met that man before.
I have not.
I feel like I have. Unsure how.
Walking over to where he was standing, what is there anything left behind or any mark of his passing or anything?
Now this is very interesting. I love this. Please make me a perception check.
Alrighty. Secret or just
Secret.
or open? Okay. I know how to do that. Oh, there it is. Duh. Okay.
How have we rolled 4 question marks in a row?
Looks like I got a yellow error up on the screen at that point. Something to do with Ryzen?
Oh, that's me trying to fix my background. Since there's no deep background option, I'm just using the Acolyte, and it
Okay.
had an issue with that.
Okay. No problem. So, Soma, as you look around this area, as you look around the area where he was standing, I mean, you know that he was standing with both of his hands perched atop of his cane, and he was kind of leaning back towards onto this building, and you're looking around in the sand and debris that's kind of occupying that area, that same general area. And what strikes you as very odd is you don't actually see any indication that he was even there.
Like there's not even like footprints in the
Yeah.
leaf mulch or anything.
There-
There's no crushed vegetation besides that which
or
I'm,
any
leaving
tracks,
myself.
or even any tracks in the sand and debris on this concrete sort of ground here. You don't see any tracks, and you're looking very closely. There's no tracks. It's almost as though he wasn't even there.
I think if someone were to tell me that this man were able to project himself over distances, I would not be surprised to hear that. And neither of you have ever encountered him.
No, and I.
Is my prying... Sorry, I apologize.
I was just gonna say no, and I haven't, and I hope I don't see him again.
The very fact that he is a serial killer and he's so chalant about the victims that he's killed, that kind of strikes a nerve with Ryzen.
Yeah, because remember, he's a cleric of Merve, who one
Yeah.
of their main domains is life.
Yeah.
He feels familiar, but seemed to have no recognition. I am not sure.
And he's kind of... Sounds like Basile's kind of popping a circuit there. And at this moment, Bippy's character, Shay... I'm sorry to have left you kind of twiddling your thumbs there for so long.
Hello, no worries. Cha is the
Cha.
name.
Okay. So, Cha, you are in the woods here along outside the city, and you have been on the trail of something for quite some time.
Yes, I have.
You believe that whatever this is that you've been on the trail of is a void terror.
Grr.
And you noticed, kind of off in the distance, you noticed these people and at the edge of the town talking to this man. And you noticed how he disappeared into a shadow.
Ooh. Okay. Um. Okay. So, just to is that something that I might recognize as being, I don't know, something a void terror might do, disappearing into shadow?
Make me an occultism check.
Sure. Secret, right? How do I do that?
You see these buttons at the top of the chat box? That one that looks like a
Oh, I see.
die.
Blind.
Yeah, if you want to click that one.
Is it private GM role? Is that the one?
Yeah, blind,
Okay.
just the blind.
Blind. It says blind GM role. Okay.
Yeah.
private will make you be able to see it. Blind will make it to where you can't see it, but GM can.
All
Oh,
right.
I can't even see the result of. Okay,
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep. That's the point.
cool.
So you do recognize this as it's not normal magic. What you saw there, the way he disappeared. You've probably been around a lot of Mystia casters, and you know what this sort of things Mystia casters can do, and you know it's sort of the way that Mystia casting works. And even with your psychic abilities, you didn't sense Mystia. That wasn't Mystia.
Interesting.
So that
Interesting.
wasn't a spell.
Okay.
That was something
well,
else entirely.
Equal parts interesting and concerning. Do I? So what are the details of this void terror that I've been tracking for a while?
This void terror that you've been tracking for quite some time is extremely dangerous. You know that it kind of crawls around on all fours and it can kind of stand up, and it has super long claws, four hands,
Have I
and
encountered it before? Oh, sorry.
and it has a mouth full of razor sharp teeth. It kind of looks similar in some ways to a daemon, but it's a lot deadlier. And
Okay.
yeah, you actually encountered it as it was slaughtering a group of hikers up in the mountains.
Very recently.
As recently as about a week ago.
Okay, got it. And I've been here in the area about how long tracking it?
About a week.
About a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And so what I've seen is this person disappearing with what doesn't seem like magic at all. And I'm at the tree line of the
Yeah, just past
outside the
this
town?
past the tree line just outside of town. You're just out of sight of that group of people.
Okay. Just for politeness sake, I'm gonna ask, how are you fine with if I were to not immediately go to the party, would you be fine with that kind of split, or would you rather go to the party? I know it.
That's fine. That's
Some
fine. Whatever you want to do.
Okay, so then they're not going to approach the party right away, but they are going to take just a quick look over who those people are. Did they hear any of the talking at all? Or were
Little
they too
bits and
far for that?
pieces. Little bits and pieces. You heard the man boast about how many people he's killed. So you know that he's a very dangerous man.
Okay.
Little bits and pieces like that. You also heard him kind of warn about the woods.
Okay. Warned about the woods. Got it. So they'll make their way towards town, but for now they will this group of people may as well be just random people to them, so they will let the group move on, and then they will move into town themselves to continue their investigation.
Okay, make me a stealth check, a secret.
Could I use assurance for this?
Sure.
So okay, in that case, I guess I can just
It's
whisper you my bonus.
in secret.
Okay, what is the command for chatting in secret? So like a /whisper command or something?
Yeah, you could probably do that. /whisper GM Seth. I haven't actually tried it.
Okay, and I mean, actually, I just realized I could just message you on Discord. Whoopsie.
You could. You could have just rolled that in Foundry.
Oh, could I have what? Okay, well, either way.
Yeah.
What I meant was it's assurance, so it's a 10 plus the base bonus, so it wasn't actually a roll.
Okay. 10 plus the
Yeah.
base bonus. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So. Give me one moment.
No worries.
All right. So you're keeping just out of sight of them, and we will flip back to Bastille, Soma, and Ryson, including also Esther and Frederick. They're here as well. What are you all doing?
At this point, what is my prying eye seeing?
You have your prying eye pointed still inward towards the city.
Yes.
You see a library. It looks like that is. It looks like it's mostly intact. At least more intact than most of the buildings in the town.
And there's no like movement around it or anything.
Other than Kyrene, you just catch a glimpse of Kyrene just passing it.
Got it. But not Hyokun or Griselda. That's not her name. Grizian.
Yeah, not Hyokun or Grizian.
All right. I will let everybody know. Kyrene has reached the building at the center of the city. I think we should try to catch up.
I agree.
As you continue on towards the center of town, you eventually make it to the what looks like the library that looks mostly intact, at least compared to most of the other buildings, and might be a good place to find out some more information. Hey, Zoma. I just want to note, I know you've been taking a lot of notes. You see this big book here in the towards the bottom of the library scene that says Bifrost Journal. That is a shared party journal. That
Nice.
you can
I will
type in.
In which I have been taking
I
notes
will
on.
transcribe afterwards. I can't take notes by typing.
Okay.
Doesn't work with my brain.
Okay. Just wanted to
Why is one of the pages soup lore?
That was a
We'll find
previous.
out.
That was a previous player character. They're still around in the server, but yeah, she was interesting. She'll be missed.
Just interested in food lore.
Yeah, she was entertaining. We'll put it that way. She was very entertaining.
Of pasta if it kills me.
Yeah, she was very entertaining. She'll be missed. She had
Just
to
imagine.
kind of retire from the campaign, at least for now, because work kind of got crazy on her.
The soup lord
Is
just makes me imagine somebody next to like a pushpin board, like a conspiracy theory board, just like labeled soup.
We do have one of those.
Ah,
If anybody's
Yes.
looked at the clue board, there
Yep.
is a conspiracy
Yes.
theory board.
there it.
Yep.
Is Kyrene outside the library when we get to it?
No.
Yep.
When
Has she
Soma
gone?
when Soma caught a glimpse of her, she was just passing by. But
Did the eye see her go into the library?
no, she was just passing by it.
She passing by the library.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Concerning.
Might be a good place to find some information. Learn more about the
Yes.
area.
I think we should go into the library. I do want. I want to leave the eye out in the courtyard. Just keeping an eye out for Hyokun.
Yeah. It's good that you're concerned for Hyokun. That's that's definitely a good thing. Especially as you did note a kind of anxiety returning here.
Not to mention that Zulgoth like directly threatened to spill his guts out.
Indeed.
So,
Yeah, it's definitely
big concern.
it's definitely
Of
good to be
reasons to be concerned, that would be higher on the list of reasons.
Yeah, definitely fair to be concerned for him when he's been directly threatened by a psychopathic serial killer.
I think right now Bastille's just truly lost in their own thoughts, so to speak, so they've just kind of been sidling along, which is why I've been silent mostly.
Yeah. So who's going to go into the library and who's going to kind of try to find Hyokun?
So in character, I'll just say, so are we going to go in the library, or do we want to try to find Hyokun? Because it seems like they're in danger.
Let me try something first. And I would like to, like, while we're standing around the courtyard, send the prying eye up into the air to just kind of get like a bird's eye view and see if I can see movement. Like, look for movement in among the streets to see if there's like an indication of where they might be, where Kyrene might be headed.
Right. As you send the prying eye up, you kind of get this eagle eye look down upon the city. You do catch a glimpse of Kyrene, and as you just catch a glimpse of her, she kind of looks up in the direction of the prying eye. She knows it's there. You can't really catch her off guard. She's a telepath.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah, she looks up right at the prying eye, and you see her smile. And then you see her kind of nod in the direction towards the east.
Turning but that is not the direction that she is heading.
No, that is not the direction she is heading. She's heading, it seems more northwest, west.
Okay, so turning my attention to the east, do I see maybe Hyokun, where Hyokun and Grizian are?
You see as you turn the eye towards the east, you see this hill off in the distance, and up on top of this hill is what looks like the ruined remains of a small log cabin. And you just catch a glimpse of Grizian just outside the log cabin. And as you do that, we're going to kind of fade to black, and then the camera pans in over around the log cabin. And they are looking around the remains of this house that's just on the outskirts of town, and there's flashes of what happened here as Damon's attacked and he fled, as these images kind of flood his mind, and he's overcome with emotion, and you kind of see these tears forming in his eyes, and he says, I had no idea until Mom told me that he was an immortal, and he gave his life for me. Why? And Grizian tries to console him and says, because he cared. He was a good man. And Hyokun shakes his head and he says, too many good people lost their lives that day. Even Tarda gave his own life for you. And we flash back to you guys. And what are you doing?
Irene is headed to the northwest, but Hyokun and Grizian are at a log cabin east of here. They seem to be, well, fine, safe-ish physically. I think that's where he lived.
Is there a reason we came to the library?
I think we can find out what happened here, or what this place was like, and potentially anything that would tell us maybe about what's in the woods.
Why would the library have information on recent things? The city fell long ago.
We don't know if the thing in the woods is recent, though. We just know that it's angry.
At least according to Solgoth.
Would you know where
and
to
my
look
omens.
in the library?
Honestly, I was hoping one of you two would. I haven't been in many libraries.
Would you like to know how many books are in there?
Do you know how many books are in there?
One moment.
I'm gonna walk in.
Okay. So if you want to pursue this, this will be a research activity.
I have eye for numbers. As long as I can visibly see the books, I can approximately know how many there are.
What a useful skill.
Yeah, at least a couple hundred.
Yeah, so for example, I could look at a case of potion vials. I would know there's about 30 vials, but I wouldn't know there's exactly 33. I could look at a pile of 2,805 coins and know that there were about 3,000 coins in all. I would know there's exactly 2,805. But I could get to the exact 100 or exact 1,000 range.
Okay, yeah.
And it does use coins, books, or people as listed items in it.
Okay, so you know that there's roughly around 200 books.
Yeah. Truly the
would be you would be amazing at the circus.
truly
Have you ever
the
played that game with the balls and the peanuts in the jar?
So yeah, Bastille goes in for 2 minutes, comes back out.
There is roughly 200 books we would need to pick through.
Unless you could narrow things down. And
Yeah, I think Soma has absolutely just followed Bastille into the library. So
Oh.
what does the inside of the library look like?
And if the others have gone in, Ryson would have followed as well.
So inside the library, I'm going to flash back to Shaw real quickly. Shaw,
Hello.
you have been hanging out just in the tree line, right? Or you've been kind of following the group?
Sort of following at a safe distance.
Okay.
Though once they went into the library, probably would lose interest in it wouldn't follow them in.
Okay.
That would be a little too obvious.
All right. And what you're still tracking the Void Terror, correct?
Yeah. So yes, that is their main priority right now is trying to see. Are there any sort of residual traces of magic or any of that sort of thing around this area?
Do you have detect magic? Perhaps as a psychic
Oh, that's a
ability?
good point. You know what? I did originally, but then I swapped one of my feats and I don't now, so never mind that.
I do have it up. As a reminder, I had put that up and was sustaining it. In previous game when Soma had brought out their familiar.
Alrighty.
Okay. So okay, with that not being not being an option, my bad. They're instead going to look for clues as to if there are any clear indicators of someone's presence who kind of looks like this whatever this guy looked like. He had a cane, right? That sort of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
There are no clear footsteps or for example is there snow around here? No, right?
No.
No? Okay, so no compressions of a cane hitting the dirt or anything like that.
No. No. You didn't see any of that. And of course, there's no snow because it's about the autumn. It's about autumn time.
Okay. So I guess the dirt would be a little packed anyway, so even if there was
Yeah.
a cane, be a
Yeah.
little difficult. Okay. So in that case, they're gonna start. How many people are in this town? They've been around here for a little bit, right? Do you think they've been in this town previously or city
This
even?
town is abandoned, so you really
Oh,
weren't
I see.
expecting to find these people here.
Okay, you know what? That is some context I should have realized earlier. Okay. In that case, they're gonna go take a look at some of the surrounding sort of abandoned buildings. Just try to see if there are any clues as to, well, for one thing, what happened here. Is that known what happened here? Or is it clear what happened here? Or did
Uh,
everybody just sort of disappear out of thin air?
make me a recall knowledge check. Give me one quick second.
Sure.
One quick second to figure out exactly what kind of recall knowledge check this would be. Um, society. Make me a society check.
Okay. And blind rolling this, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, you believe that you've heard that there was this big void portal that opened up here, and all these void terrors spilled out all over the town. That's at least what you've heard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. With this, so this particular valley was uh abandoned during what was the historical event you mentioned?
Yeah, yeah, back
Okay,
in
okay,
2734.
okay. Got it. So in that case, what they're going to look for is tracks or other. They've probably picked up by now on their travels and their hunts. What marks a void terrorist passing, if anything? Is there any kind of, would there be any way of um any kind of clues in particular that would tip one off to a void terror having been here recently? Uh,
Make
physically,
me
at the very least.
make an occultism check.
Sure.
Void terrors and even necro spirits do leave behind a residual trace. Basically, anything that comes from the void leaves a very distinct residual trace behind.
Okay.
Because the void is composed of entirely negative energy. The void itself is composed of entirely negative energy.
So there's sort of residual
Yeah.
negative energy sort of left behind.
Yeah.
And would I need detect magic to pick something like that up?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
or there's a reason I had you pick up the investigator kit.
Ooh. Doing my options. Opens up my backpack real quick. Oh, I see. Energy detector.
Yeah.
All
Exactly.
right. Well, very useful. Okay, cool. I forgot about these two. Energy detector and motion recorder. Interesting.
Yes.
And the quartz crystal. Okay, those are used with the. Okay, I should have looked at those beforehand. Energy detector. Okay, yeah, they're gonna go ahead and sort of utilize that to see if they can pick up on any traces of a void terror being around here.
Excuse me. Sure. And as you do that, make me a perception check.
Okay.
This is also secret. Perception and recall knowledge are always secret. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, audience. You're seeing a lot of secret rolls.
It's perception check secret. There we go. Really loving these dice animations where they're all just question marks.
Yeah. So what you get with your energy detector is you also you the negative energy spikes are kind of off the charts here. But you can't even tell exactly if it's from a void terror or if it's from something else. Because as you roll this detector over even the area where the man was, yeah, you're seeing a spike there too. And just as you move the detector towards the tree line, you see a spike of something else entirely. This isn't negative energy. This is something else. This is a different kind of energy that you can't quite identify.
Uh-huh.
And it
Interesting.
is kind of off the charts. That spike is really off the charts.
Is that where I was previously? Or is it
Yes.
another area of the tree line?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting. All right, yeah, well they're gonna head straight towards it. You know what? Face danger in the face. So they say. I don't know who says that, but somebody probably did at some point.
Okay.
You did.
True.
True.
Are
So
now quotes attributed to me.
we're going to flash back to the three in the library. And as we do that, I do want to toss out some story points. Don't do anything. I am tossing these out through the party sheet. So there you go. You just got another story point. And now we're going to start this research activity. And what subject do you want to research?
What does the inside of the library look like?
Right. As you come into the library, you find a lot of books strewn about on the floor. Half of the shelves on one side are like toppled over, whereas the shelves on the other side are mostly standing in place, and one or two are toppled over. And you see along the walk path, you see papers strewn about.
Is it does it seem that this has all been like this since, oh gosh, what year did you just say that this
2734.
attack was?
2734.
2734.
About 9 years ago.
9 years ago. Is it all just like coated in a thick layer of dust or something? Like it's
Yeah.
just been like this
Yeah,
since
yeah.
then? Okay.
Yeah, there's a very thick layer of dust in here. Dust and dirt and stuff. So what subject do you want to research here?
What do the two of you think? It seems like you were right. Whichever of you said this, Ryzen. I think it seems like you were right, and we're not going to find anything new here. But
That was Bastille.
a steal.
Is there anything you are looking for in specific? If we knew more of the creature, then we could look by name, but we do not.
Perhaps local legends, local history, just to see if there's any mention of a force in these woods that predated the attack, or if this was something that has moved in since then.
Very well. One moment.
How long would it take to just go through and like literally just look at the title of each of these books? Just briefly,
So,
like not even trying to read them. What I'm trying to use is this isn't exactly what the feature is for, but I feel like it could translate well enough. One of the other features I have is glean contents, in which I'm adept at quickly scanning loose papers and carefully discerning the contents of even sealed letters without damaging the seal. Which means I might be able to glean the rough contents of a book just by looking at the like title of it or otherwise.
that is a very interesting use of that feature. And it would at least help you narrow down your search to a specific section. Which
Yeah,
it
between
definitely
eye for numbers and glean contents,
Yeah.
could I find out where the like section for that type of information would be? Immediately go there and start like trying to determine which would be the best book to pick out.
Yeah, I like this idea. That I'm going to give you a +1 to your research checks because you are are quickly able to find the exact section that you want to focus your search in. So you're going to get a +1 on your research checks.
Fantastic. And then I know when I can attempt society checks to decipher writing or otherwise in those letters. Can I utilize that skill, or I be using a different skill?
You don't need to decipher any writing here because pretty much all of this is in common.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that translated for like even like deciphering the contents of a book or otherwise. So yeah, what am I rolling?
So the research check rolls for this sort of thing, for like local history, is going to be society.
Hey, society anyway.
So any of you can make society checks, any and all of you, and you're going to have a +1 bonus to that check because Bastille was able to narrow down the section.
Is this a public role or
This is a public roll.
okay?
Oh, exciting.
Okay, so we have 24, 35, and 31. Soma, you got a critical success. That is
Again.
25, 36, and 32, really, with your +1. But oh, it's actually
I already
calculated
put
in
the
there.
+1 in it.
Yeah.
You can put it in.
All right. So, yep. Soma got a critical success. So she got 2 research points, but still got an additional research point. And
I'm, like,
Ryson...
catching the books out of the air that Bastille is throwing out behind them.
Yeah, and Ryson got an additional research point, so a total of 4 research points. And the information that you were able to gather here. Give me a moment here.
Yeah, truly, you mentioned, yeah, I want local legends, and Bastille's like, cool, the section of the library's over there, just from the middle of the library, and just walks that direction. Like, no signs used, no, like, listing, like, because I imagine whatever, like, was used to, like, list the sections, this library's probably in disrepair.
Yeah. It's mostly in disrepair, though it's mostly intact. Mostly. So, what you uncover is that the history of this valley is far darker than anyone ever knew. Apparently, there's been mass disappearances and abandonments in this area going back centuries. And so that's what really that's what caught your attention at first. As you continued delving into the history of this area, you uncover reports of a village that once existed in the same exact place where this city is now, and was somehow abandoned when it fell prey to an unseen force in the woods. And you also find stories of a native village that was wiped out by Vikaran raiders who claimed the land as their own. So that's some of the information that you're able to glean with your 4 research points. And we're going to flip back to Bippy. It looks like Bippy is back. So Shaw, what are you doing?
Shaw is going to follow that. Well, not really follow, but they're headed towards the towards that energy signature. Back where they were in the tree line with a sort of a hand on their hand on their dueling pistol beneath their coat.
Sure. And as you enter the tree line, just as you enter the tree line, you hear this airship land in the clearing right between the tree line and the town, and a woman with curly blonde hair steps out and she says, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?"
They kind of spin around suddenly. The hunter is well, they're kind of pretty androgynous. They've got sort of very, very long curly hair that spills down their back, and sort of a lithe build, and they're in sort of like a leather not a reinforced leather, but just a like sort of a drifter's kind of coat. And there is a rifle on their back. That is a Jezzail. Very, very, very long and ornate looking rifle. And they sort of frown at this woman and say, "I could ask you people the same thing. What are you doing down here? And with this weird airship of yours? Are those your people in the town?"
Yeah, they're mine. They're they're members of an esoteric group called the Hidden Archives, a subsection of the Wayfinder Society, which is my organization.
Don't look very hidden to me.
That's what they all say.
Uh,
We were sent here by the King of Atlantia to scout this region for rehabilitation, see if it's safe to reoccupy.
Well, I can answer that question for you. It's not. You can go back now. This is look, not to tread on your parade here, but I'm tracking something very dangerous, and I'm pretty sure all of your little hidden people just talked to it in broad daylight, and not realizing what it was.
If you're talking about Zolgoth, he's my uncle. And yeah, he's dangerous, but also harmless as a fly sometimes.
Almost immediately, upon mention that they are assuming that this person, this man is very clearly that was Zolgoth. They have it in their brain. He is a void terror. This person is they're your uncle. Okay, very good. They don't say that, but all right. They very clearly tense up. I also realized I was wrong. No, their rifle is not visible on their back. Whoopsie. Um, and they kind of narrow their eyes and go, "All right, explain." You're talking about him
Zolgoth.
like he's just a random guy.
Zolgoth Alduin is a psychopathic serial killer, and he's my uncle. Yeah. Crazy runs in my family, I guess.
Oh well. Your uncle's I'm pretty sure your uncle's a void terror. Sorry to say.
Oh, he's not a void terror. He has dealings with void terrors.
They scowl at that. I don't know. That's the other obvious solution, or that's the other obvious answer.
He is a
They
leader
they
of
kind of like swear under their breath.
he's a leader of a cult called the Scions of the Void.
Kind of like they kind of like blink, like wow, I cannot believe this creature that they've been tracking for the past week. Not even the past week, for however long they've been tracking this creature, far longer than a week. And suddenly this airship comes out of the sky, and a woman comes out and tells them that, hey, this is the biggest lead that you'll ever get into pursuing this void terror. And immediately they sort of like they seem to perk up, like, really? What? Tell me more. I need to know.
That is a very, very long story.
I have time.
She turns back to the airship and she nods and she calls out, Ira, Kwai, could you head into the town and find our friends? Find Kyrene, wherever the hell she's gone off to this time. And you see these two girls. One has platinum blonde hair, and the other has kind of dirty blonde hair. And the one with the dirty blonde hair it comes right over to you and hands you a flower. And Iris says, "That's a gift of friendship." Just translating for her.
They kind of like stare. What kind of flower is it?
Oh, give me 1 second. I actually have a. It is an acacia flower.
Interesting. They kind of like stare at the flower, then stare at her, then look back at what did the woman say what her name was? The blonde woman.
She says, "My name is Crystal. Crystal Dawn."
Cha. Cha. Oh, Crystal Dawn. Very. They mutter something about that being really way too on the nose. They
And
Cha.
she motions to the two girls. This is Ira and Koi. The girl who just handed you the flower is Koi.
Well, they kind of loosen their grip on their sort of stuff the hand that was gripping the gun in their pocket, sort of like pull the hand out without the gun, leave the gun in there,
Sure.
and cross their arms. Well, I'm not taking to working with people, but you just dropped the juiciest hint I've ever gotten. Looking for this fucking void terror. So, what? You guys would you guys complain about a +1?
Not at all.
Well, good. Judging by how loud your that group of yours is, they're gonna need it.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. And we flash back to the we flash back to the three in the library.
This group of books isn't needed. Knocks over an entire thing of books.
Yeah, case in point.
And you all can make another society check.
Before that, Ryson is going to put the books back nicely. And then he will continue looking. How
do
are we
still
going to
have the
know which ones
circumstance
we've looked at?
bonus, or is it
Yeah, you do.
just the straight one?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Thanks to Bastille's ability.
No.
Well,
So
Terrible
Soma got one. Soma got one research point, and for that one,
Ryson didn't get anything because he was too busy cleaning up Bastile's mess.
I was wrong. This group of books was needed. It was that group of books.
you uncover more stories of this creature in the woods, and there are many names given to it over the years. But one thing remains constant. It is described as dark and evil. It's also described as a curse on the land.
What are some of the names that it has been given?
Some of the names that's been given is the Kushta. One name that's kind of in common that's been given is the Killer. So, kind of like the Hilltop Valley Killer. It's,
And
and
can't see it, but I'm tapping my head.
What you have to do is tap hard enough so we can hear it.
Just
That wasn't your head.
Sorry, everybody.
We're lied to.
So, yeah, the connections, the dots that you're kind of starting to connect here is it kind of sounds like this curse was placed upon the land way back when this group of Vikaran raiders claimed the land. And make me a society check, Soma.
Okay. Blind roll or public?
Blind roll. So recall knowledge.
Okay.
So, what you know, what you're able to recall here is you've heard some native Atlantean legends that say that nature does not like it and does not appreciate it when man just comes in and claims a land of their own. Nature does not like that at all. And It is said in native Atlantean legend that when that occurs, nature will fight back, and that creates a curse.
Did we find anything that said where the village that was wiped out by the raiders was, or was that also this where
It
the
was
city
located
is?
exactly where the city is now.
But that was a different village than the one
Yeah.
that was later abandoned.
Yeah,
Okay.
that village was
So
abandoned.
this is village number 3.
Pretty much
Or
at
this is
this
city
point.
number 3.
Pretty much at this
Okay.
point that you could discern.
And we're going to be
You're not
working on
sure.
city number 4.
You're not sure.
Yeah.
There could have been others, but from what you can discern, there have been at least now 3 villages or towns that have been later abandoned. So.
New City plus plus.
Yep.
I definitely share that with everybody else. I think we are looking for the source. It seems like it might be within the city itself. I worry about heading into the forest without searching this place more thoroughly.
If you think it's in the city, then wouldn't the city be the more dangerous place?
If this place has been destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed again, it could be the focus, but not the source, but not the focus, not where whatever this creature is, where it spends its time.
I feel like your witch training might come into play in this.
Mm-hmm.
And you through your witch training, you know a little something about curses. You know that there is always a focus to a curse. And at this point, you can't be sure entirely if the town is the focus or if the focus is somewhere in the woods. You can't be 100% sure. But you know that there has to be a focus for this curse.
Mm-hmm. There is a focus, and right now, I think we should focus on the town first.
Focus on the town.
But it is not guaranteed that it is in the town.
What is your intention for the creature?
I mean, if it's preventing people, if it's cursing this place and preventing people from living here, and we're sent to help make this livable, I think there's only really one option.
We were sent to determine whether it was not to make it such.
This land, if it is cursed, it is in pain. And I cannot leave this place without doing what I can to alleviate that pain. If there is
Well
a way
said.
to harmonize the spirit of this place with the people who wish to live here, I think we should endeavor to do so.
And I wholeheartedly agree.
What
And then,
Well,
if if we are not the first to be sent here? If we do not at least send the information and we fail, they will send others for the same fate.
I think
Then
you
we
are
could-
right, and I think we should update Crystal.
So go find Crystal.
Go find Crystal. Head out to the airship and this tense standoff.
That
I
you
am just
didn't
not
don't
sure
even know what's
what-
happening because you've been in the library.
We don't even know what's happening. We've been in the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a Mexican standoff. With Crystal and Char pointing handguns at each other right now.
She doesn't really have guns, but she has magic, you know.
You came to the wrong town, Goron.
But before that, we're going to flash to Kyrene as she's walking through the streets of this ruined town. She kind of looks up and still sees still sees Soma's prying eye, and she says to herself, "That girl, there's something familiar about her." And then kind of shakes her head and kind of refocuses herself. Why would Arthur come here? What would he be looking for here? And she looks towards the woods. I can't shake this feeling. Something about those woods is drawing me towards them. And we flash back to you guys as you beat up with Crystal. Actually, before you beat up with Crystal, you beat up with Ira and Koi, just between, just on the main street heading towards the outside of town. You beat up with Koi and Ira, and Ira says, if you're looking for Crystal, she's kind of in a standoff with some guy she found out in the woods." And Koi says, "Yeah, he's got a crazy cowboy hat and everything." And
Cannot stress enough that Chow does not actually have a cowboy hat, but we're gonna go.
and Ira corrects her and says, "They looked more androgynous. I think it's they, not he."
we're heading that way anyway, so I suppose we can figure out what's going on with the standoff.
Oh, also as an out of character note, Chai uses any pronouns. Don't worry about them.
Okay. And Koi says, "They're our new friend."
Being in a standoff is not something a friend would usually do.
And Iris says, "Don't mind her. She thinks everyone's a friend. Everyone except that Zolgoth guy. He's mean."
Did Crystal send you to find us, or?
Koi says, "Yep, and we found you.
Ah,
We did a good job, didn't we?"
sure did. I think we all head back towards the airship, yeah?
Yeah.
As they make their way towards the airship, they kind of hear over the din someone's voice going, I don't care what you tell me. I'm not going to join up with you and your little peanut gallery just so I can find this because you guys apparently know better about this thing that I've been tracking for months, okay?
Tracking what for months?
Oh, look who it is. Team talks to a never mind. No, they don't say that. You'll hear me say that a lot. Sorry, I'm autistic. They say, "Oh, look who it is! Finally done frolicking in the library."
I do not know how to frolic.
Shaw kind of looks at him weird. Jaw is I'll rehash it. Jaw's is sort of this curly-haired, seemingly human. Although I mean, they probably could be an elf or sorry, a fae, or a half fae. The hair hides their ears. Sort of fair-ish, but sort of darker tones, warm toned skin. They're dressed in explorer's clothes, and very little else. There's a leather harness, but they aren't visibly armed in any way, besides a knife strapped to their boot. And they don't look very happy. In fact, they look a little annoyed as they stand across from Crystal.
Bastille is a truly like decrepit automaton. Like, doesn't look like they should be operating in any capacity, but still seems to move about just perfectly fine. Like holes, rips, tears, all in them. They do have like a robe on to cover some of it and things like that. But yeah, truly doesn't look like they should work in the slightest. Like not even a face is visible due to the tears and cuts. Like there are some like visible vents and things like that, but they work just fine.
Interesting.
And then
And
Ryson is a teal Dragla. He's probably the biggest, bulkiest cleric you've ever seen. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What is a what was the race called again?
Dragla, it's basically dragon, half dragon.
Okay, cool. So do they look like the Dragonborn from 5e?
Yes,
Ish.
Yeah.
but with wings. Oh, and
Yeah.
he does he has what looks to be a bronze prosthetic tail.
Okay.
And Soma?
And Soma is a very small, apparently human woman with kind of red hair that's kind of bound up in braids at the back of her head, like a bun that's kind of like a complex knot of a very long braid. And she is wearing a kind of like long skirts and a kind of flouncy, that's not really the right word, it's like a wrap coat with these big puffy sleeves that are cuffed, and next to her is walking a little kind of sandy colored and gray
Ikune.
fox.
An Ikune.
Ikune looks like a fox. That is an Ikune, Mystimon.
Interesting.
It's a
Okay.
little buddy. Just a little
Well,
guy.
considering what they just said, how does Crystal what's Crystal saying?
Crystal says, "Look, if you're looking for my uncle, I think I know him probably better than most people. And the only other one he would know more than I do is Kyrene. And I have
Do you know
no
where
idea
he
where she
is?
is.
Do you know where your
she's in
uncle
the
is?
northwest.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, she was heading to the northwest of the city.
Oh, Kyrene's heading to the northwest.
Hmm.
Look, you know a lot about your uncle. Do you know where he is?
He kind of appears here and there. He has this ability to astral project.
Aha! I knew it.
Chad thinks the same thing, but does not vocalize it, and instead says, "So you don't know where he is."
Sadly, no. Otherwise, I would give his
So,
location to the Magi Guard so they can go pick him up.
all right. Well, if you people are gonna insist on going after my prey, then whatever. There's what? How many of you little funny little people are there? 10, 11, 12, 300?
He looks at you
Doesn't matter.
funny when you say little people.
Yeah, I will say Cha is not actually. Cha is a very not a very impressive height. They're like maybe 5'7" or something.
Yeah, then Ryson's about 2 feet taller than him.
Listen. Minor details. Okay.
and Frederick, who is
That's it.
following along, just behind, is 9'4".
Whack. Hey, look.
And
Soma's
Soma
there. Okay,
is
it's fine.
5'1".
Look, it's fine.
And the fox is even smaller. The Ikune is even smaller.
Bastille is 7 foot exactly.
What the hell? Okay, well, okay. I guess they're on the shorter side then, apparently, for this party. But yeah, so Cha, but yeah, reiterating what Cha said, they kind of just say, look, if it's great that he's your uncle and all. Well, maybe it's not great, but whatever. You seem to know a lot about him, but if you don't know where he is, then that's not very useful to me. But well, seeing as there's how many of you little weird little people are there? 10, 11, 12, 300, doesn't matter. Doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to stop you. So we can either stay out of each other's way. You can either stay out of my way, rather, or you can give me a reason to help you people.
A burden shared is a burden halved, or in this case, I'll cut into fifths. So I think it would behoove us to work together.
Chuck kind of stares at him like blankly, like, do all dragon people talk like this? And there's a very blank stare on their face.
It's easier if we work together. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Look, I'm not one for stomping into abandoned towns and having loud chat, having fireside chats with our villain here, and also knocking over books like they're fucking they're fucking snowmen at the end of winter. Okay,
Hey,
I
you
could hear
weren't
you
there
knocking.
for that.
No, we can
You
hear it.
were-
Okay, I can hear it. I could hear it. No, actually, maybe if they could hear it, then they say that. If they couldn't, then they don't. But it wasn't loud enough for them to hear like the books like toppling over loudly from the building.
No.
That was happening when you guys
Yeah.
were out on the edge.
All right, never mind. Then they don't say that, but I say that spiritually. Look, you people. Look, if I say you people are loud, I don't work loud.
Not all of us are loud.
Soma kind of narrows her eyes and says, "Where did you come here from?"
That's a good question, GM. Where did I come here from?
You got here from the mountains, from the crazy mountains, particularly the canyon there. That's where you first caught wind of this void terror.
Okay. And
So-
how long ago did they catch wind of this void terror?
So if you look up the map here, If you go to the
Uh-huh.
world map, the Crazy Mountains is here in the kind of center of Atlantia.
Mhm.
And where you are now is up here.
Okay.
Up here in the northwestern peninsula. So that took you quite some time to get there. The last sighting that you had of this void terror was kind of up in this area. So it
Mhm.
took you about a week to get from this area up towards where we are now.
Got it. So they kind of like they kind of cross their arms and stare at Soma. The mountains, lady. Where else? Think I swam here?
So how long were you in the woods before you got here?
I don't know. It's long enough that never mind. I don't say that. What? A couple weeks? Depends on what you mean by woods. There's woods everywhere here.
The woods south of the city.
2 weeks.
And in that time, did you meet anything other than this creature you've been following? You
That's a
see
good
any
question.
signs thereof?
Apart from woodman, from animal life, and or this creature that they encountered a couple of times. Have they encountered anything or anyone else?
You haven't encountered anything else other than the local wild Mystimon life. Make me a nature check if you want
Sure.
to determine what Mystimon you've been encountering here.
Sure. Nature. Yeah.
So you've been encountering Draren, you've been encountering Yukine of the white variety. You've been encountering even some Nakos here and there.
Uh-huh.
And Nakos are kind of a little house cat Mystimon. You
Uh-huh.
already know what Equine are. And Draren are a reindeer Mystimon.
Mm.
So those are some of
Okay.
the local wild Mystimon life you've been encountering here.
Mhm.
Funny enough, you haven't seen any signs of any predators, which kind of catches you a little by surprise. Usually, with this many prey animals here, you would expect to see predators here as well, but you haven't really seen any signs of predators here.
Mm. Okay, so to answer Soma's question, Cha kind of snorts. Oh, you mean apart from the local wildlife and a roving fucked up void terror? No, where do you think we are? Think I found people here? No one. They kind of like
I
spread their
was
arms
not
out.
asking about people.
Oh, well, it sounded like you were. They, they say, even though clearly didn't. Look, what's your point?
There's something in these woods. There's something other than the void terror, other than your
How do we know that
target.
they're not the same thing?
Because they've been tracking this void terror since if they've been tracking this void terror for weeks and weeks, this is not the same thing. Across the country, no.
Cha looks like they want to argue, but they can't really find a counterpoint, so they kind of just cross their arms and sort of furrow their brow. Hmm. All right. Let's say there's this other whatever magical thing in the woods. How do you know about it?
We've been sent
We
here.
were in the library. And
We
had
were, as
information
you
about it.
say, throwing around books.
They kind of scratch their chin and go, "All right, well, you've got one on me. Hey, how about this? That funny little man you talked to with the cane and everything, fucked up one. What'd he say to you? I was listening, but I didn't quite catch everything."
It was threats and nonsense.
Guess the nonsense of a madman.
Okay, was it motive revealing nonsense? Did he say what he was doing here? What he even wanted with this
He
place?
pressed. He pressed, but he did not. He would not.
They kind of frown and they kind of frown and start. They start actually pacing a little bit. Their boots kind of crunching against the hard dirt beneath, and they go, "You know what? Fine." They kind of put their hands up. Maybe there is some weird thing in the woods that isn't just this void terror. Maybe there's a second void terror. I don't know. But fine, you won me over. I'll stick with you people for now. I'm sure we'll get along fine. They deadpan.
I'm sure we will. He says, knowing that that might have been sarcasm, but not caring in the least.
All right, well, fine. Name's Jaw. Whatever pronouns you want, don't care. I would say it's a pleasure, but we'll have to see about that.
And Ira kind of says to Soma, "You see, they seem like lovely people."
Soma smiles tightly.
Look, they don't pay me to be polite, okay? Come on, are we just gonna stand here like idiots, or are we gonna get moving?
I would prefer to do the latter.
Look,
We
man after
are
my own heart.
planning on quartering the town. Crystal, this is why we came back to find you. There is, from what we found in the library, there is a curse on this place, on these lands. And
That doesn't
not
surprise me.
know if I told you this already, but the Bones warned me last night to stay out of the woods. I worry that the source of this will be in the woods, but it might not. So, to begin with, we are going to search the town. I think it best if the 5 of you, I think it's 5, because like Gareth and Rune are here too, right?
Not
Plus
Gareth.
Ira.
Not
And Kawhi.
Gareth isn't here.
Where did Gareth go?
Gareth the Magnificent, and
Yeah, and Squawk.
and Squawk.
Oh yeah.
They were up still in the airship.
Yeah, okay, so they're still on the airship. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. When I
And-
meant here, I meant the people who were on the
Yeah.
airship, which I'm pretty sure was Gareth, Rune, Kawhi, Ira, and Crystal.
Yeah, and Squawk.
And Squawk.
And
Yeah,
this
he doesn't count.
and Gareth and Squawk come out of the airship finally, as you see Gareth doing these magic tricks, and
Once again,
Squawk just
Ryzen-
seems engrossed in these magic tricks.
If you could squint loudly, that's what Ryson is doing right now.
Audibly squinting.
Yes.
And Squawk, it just seems really engrossed in these magic tricks. And he's like, how do
Soma
you
pats
do that?
Ryzen's arm soothingly.
John looks at this and this kind of like pans their gaze slowly over to the party, and like raises an eyebrow.
Soma shakes her head.
Crystal
very
says,
minutely.
Crystal says,
They just shrug.
we have a colorful bunch.
But my point is, if whatever we try here fails, what's his name? Antlan? Yeah, Antlan, the king of
Ant-Man.
And
I was gonna say that.
King Ontlin.
Antlan, he cannot send more people. If what we try here fails, this place cannot be reclaimed.
Crystal it kind of sighs and says, why am I not surprised? Everywhere that my uncle shows up at seems to be cursed in some weird way.
After knowing him for 30 seconds, that's not very surprising.
Perhaps he is cursing
Soma
them.
nods.
That wouldn't surprise me either, she says to Bastille.
Can he time travel?
No, I don't think so, though I think Kyrene knows a time traveler.
Then this curse is centuries old. This city. I'm like looking around kind of to make sure that Hyokun isn't here. And I say
He's
the
not.
city. I do not think it would have lasted long regardless. It is at least the third of its kind on this place.
And Crystal says, that's gratifying. She says sarcastically.
Like everything that comes out of this woman's mouth.
She does tend to be a bit sarcastic.
Okay, I love her.
She says, wherever Kyrane's gotten off to, I'm sure she might have a few ideas. Whether she'll share them, that's another story.
Hey, remember when I said we should get moving? Chuck kind of deadpans.
Right.
Yes. So
Where shall we move?
That's
Into
a
the
very
city.
good question.
That's the plan.
Bastille starts heading towards
I
the city
actually-
immediately.
Good man. robot.
Passing Cha, Soma like cuts her eyes towards them and says, "Tossing books," and then jogs to catch up with Bastille.
Shaw doesn't roll their eyes, but Soma could tell that if they had a little bit less self-control, they would have rolled them so hard that they would have just collapsed into just like voids.
So, Cha, you were the closest to the tree line. I want you to make me a perception check. Secret.
Sure. Let me do that. Oh, also, while I do that, Soma would notice. Well, actually, this is a very important question. Do void terrors have skeletons?
That depends.
Sounds like a nonsense. Depends. Okay. Well, do some of them have skeletons?
Some might. though we're not entirely sure.
Okay, so
I mean,
Soma would notice. No, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the Void Terrors, by their very nature, are unknowable. No one really knows anything about them.
Okay. So then, as Soma walks past Cha, they sort of notice, sort of tied to their waist, beneath their coat, just sort of hidden underneath their coat, are a bunch of are just a collection of three inhuman-looking, elongated, just sort of monstrous-looking skulls. It seems that this person is some kind of hunter of some kind, though that was fairly obvious by the way they carried themselves.
And also, when Soma walks past and is being rude, Bryson's gonna just say, "We'll all get along well enough time, I'm sure."
Yeah, Crystal says, yeah, we'll get along swimmingly.
I don't see any water around here.
Nor do I.
Oh boy, now there are two of them.
So, Cha, you notice, just as you're turning towards the town, you notice out of the corner of your eyes as something really kind of deep beyond the tree line. Your eye just catches the line of sight on something really deep in beyond the tree line, just right enough that it catches your attention. You turn your head towards that direction, and you see what looks like a stone pillar.
Instantly they spin around with almost cat-like alacrity, with their hands sort of their whole body kind of tensing up. Fuck.
What?
Look.
Spinning back around and looking towards where you're pointing.
Was it a flicker of a stone pillar, or is there clearly a stone pillar there now that we look at it?
Now that you're looking at it, there is clearly a stone pillar that you can see. Just like you're like looking at an angle through between a couple of trees, and it's really deep past the tree line. You probably wouldn't have noticed this unless you were just looking in that direction just right.
And that's where
it's about
was.
It's about 45 feet past the tree line.
Okay, and is in the direction of where I had been, so I would have noticed it if it was there before.
Yeah, you might have noticed it if you were looking in that direction before.
Oh, okay. Let's say, is that a building? And then they almost immediately set off towards the tree line.
Stop, wait just a moment, please.
What?
And I want to pull my prying eye from the center of town where it's been and send it into the forest.
Bastille also finally stops, who was still walking towards the city.
I can imagine he just goes in a full semicircle.
Alright, so...
No, he just truly just stops right there and stops walking.
He doesn't even walk back.
Soma said stop. Soma didn't say anything else.
Yeah.
Correct. All he heard was the request stop.
He is an automaton, so he takes things literally.
Soma says, go!
Soma says, come back.
Soma says, break it back now, y'all.
So
something tells me he would be horrible at Simon Says.
What? He would be great at Simon Says.
But he would do it even if they didn't say Simon Says.
I am going to
say if they say at first, only listen after we say Simon Says, then he would only listen to those. However, you would then
would continue to
at
do that
some
after the
point
game.
have to say, Simon Says, okay, stop only replying when we say Simon Says.
I have just given everyone another story point. You are now maxed out on story points because of this whole tirade. So, as you send your prying eye into the past the in between these trees and in the direction of this whatever it is, in your kind of mind's eye, Soma, you see this circle of 7 stone pillars, all with ornate animal carvings upon them.
Just the one stone pillar?
No, a circle of 7 of them.
Okay. Circle of 7.
And they all look really, really old. They're all covered in thick layers of moss, and they look really weathered. They look like they've been here a very long time.
Do each of the stone pillars have multiple animal carvings on them, or are there different? Are there like a single carving, or like different animals on each carving?
There is at least 3 different animal carvings on each of them. And they're all different, and they kind of look like carvings of different Mystimon.
You might have saved us some time. There is a stone circle there.
Well,
I think
good.
you are
Am I?
right, and we should go. We should. I think you are right. I think you are right, and we should go and look at it. But everyone, be very careful. There is.
Estelle immediately walking.
There is something in these woods.
Okay. As you do that, Crystal's going to pull out her comm stone. She's going to call to Kyrene. Hey, I don't know if you're listening, but it looks like we've found something. Something you might be interested in. And you go to check out this circle of 7 stone pillars. And as I said, they're in this like circle, and it looks like a perfect circle. It looks like a perfect circle, which is
there any?
which is what it really catches. Kind of weirdly, that kind of seems a little unusual.
Is there anything like connecting the pillars to each other, like on the ground or any way?
Make me a perception check. Or a survival check.
Let's go with perception. Will this be blind?
Yes. Okay. You believe just under this, beneath your feet, between this circle of stone pillars, there's this really thick layer of moss and dirt and grass, and just underneath that, there's little bits and little patches here and there where you can just make out a kind of really rough stone that looks like it's really weathered. It looks like the same sort of stone as the pillars.
Okay. So was I able to see if there were any markings on the stone or anything?
No.
I'm mostly trying. Okay. Because I'm mostly trying to see, because I know that Merve's one of the edicts is to, what's it called? Basically get rid of Spawn of Austrion, and I know that Austrion symbol is a 7-pointed pentagram, so I was trying to see if it was one of those.
Make me a religion check. That's a very good train of thought there.
Wouldn't it be a septagram?
Yeah, I just couldn't think of it, the word off the top. Oh, whoops. I didn't do it blind. But there's the roll.
You don't believe this has anything to do with Austrion.
Okay.
Looking at the different Mystimon carvings, like what are they depicting?
Make me a nature check.
Alrighty. I'm not great at that, but that's fine.
Become good at it.
Doing my best.
A couple that you are able to identify is Equine. You're able to easily identify Equine. And you're also able to identify Nako.
Okay. I would like to try, unless Cha or Bastille want to try something first.
Well, Cha is going to this stone carvings. Do they know of any sort of connection? For one thing, if stone carvings like this have any connection to are they usually connected to like divine, like a shrine to the gods, or is it something more sinister? Do they have they seen something like this before? Just a circle of pillars?
Make me an occultism check.
Sure.
Nothing like this. This is new to you.
Okay. With Soma looking at these animals, is it possible that Cha could make a nature check to see if they can fill in the gaps of some of the other animals?
Sure. A couple of the others that you're able to identify as Draren and also Grizzless.
So like a bear?
Yeah, Grizzless are big, like grizzly bears.
Interesting. But there are no grizzlies in this area, are there?
Not that you've seen.
They kind of run their hand over the they run their hand over the grizzly carving and go. All the other animals are from around here. I haven't hunted any grizzlies in the area. I've been here for weeks. But they're supposed to be here apparently.
Perhaps they used to be.
I would like to set my hand on one of these stone carvings and cast object reading. Interesting.
As you do that, Soma, suddenly that carving starts glowing.
Ooh.
It's like something about the interaction of Mystia. It caused that to start glowing.
Ooh.
And
do I get anything though from the spell?
Like, does it tell any information?
do you
Yeah.
do you
Like,
have
do
it
I
heightened?
get any? Yeah.
Do you have it heightened?
I'm going to heighten it to 4th level.
All right, great. So you learn about heightening it to 4th level. You learn about an event that occurred within the last year. Since others can't see this because it's secret, you place a hand on an object to learn a piece of information about an emotional event that occurred involving the object within the past week, typically, determined by the GM. If you cast object reading on the same item multiple times, you can either concentrate on a single event to gain additional pieces of information about that event, or you can gain a piece of information about another emotional event in the applicable time frame. So, you heighten it to 4th, so it's within the last year for you. And as you do, you get these flashes of a man walking through the woods and finding this circle of stone pillars, and then that's where the flash kind of ends.
What does the man look like?
He looks remarkably like the man that was described to you by that woman back at Konaset. Her partner.
Ah. Well, I seem to have found Wesley Branton. Or at
Oh.
least he passed this way.
Someone who went missing. We were asked to look for while here.
What, was he frolicking around here or something?
Pretty much, actually.
I still
kind of
do
blink.
not know.
Do not know what.
What frolicking entails.
Whatever that guy
having
was doing.
to
I
describe
think
walking.
I think what would be a good idea would be to have Cha demonstrate so you can learn.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
You are the one who keeps using the term.
Yeah, well, I call people stupid a lot, but I can't exactly demonstrate what that's like. Maybe somebody around here can do that for you.
Soma actually laughs really hard at that.
Crystal says, "You don't get along with many people, do you?"
I don't get paid to get along with people. I get paid to kill things. If I was paid to get along with people, then I wouldn't be out here in this shithole.
So you are paid to be here?
Well, I pay myself in a way.
So no.
So
They roll their eyes, not pointedly not saying anything.
as that happens, suddenly this woman with short cropped brunette hair with a sort of quadrican appearance, it walks through the tree line, and she says, "Crystal, this better be good." And then as her eyes fall upon the stone pillars, her eyes go wide. And she stops in her tracks. She says, "Oh no. No, no. No. Damn it! This can't be." And she approaches the stone pillars and she sees the glowing one that Soma sort of caused to
She's
start
still
glowing.
touching. Still has a hand
And
on.
Kyrie says, "Get your hand off of there now." And she says, "How could I have missed it? It was right under my nose." And
What is the problem?
she seems to ignore you, and then Crystal grabs her and she looks her straight in the eye. "Kyrene, would you get a hold of yourself? What are you on about? What is it wrong?" "Everything. Everything is wrong. Don't you get it? I screwed up. And now they've probably been activated." And Crystal says,
No, we don't get it. Please
"What?
explain.
What has been activated?" "The Shadow Gates." And
Does
that...
Cha perk up upon hearing that? Sorry. You weren't finished.
Does Cha crack up upon hearing that?
Does she perk up upon hearing that? Because is that familiar to them?
Make me an occultism check. Words
Can
are
we
hard.
make one?
Would that be?
Can-
Would I do the same thing to see if it's familiar to Ryzen?
Yeah, all of you can. And Kyrene continues, "The damnable Shadow Gates."
Cha mutters under their breath, and I'm the one who's an asshole.
Let's see here.
Cha, you do recognize the word. You recall that Shadow Gates are ancient portal devices left behind by an ancient civilization thousands of years ago. And Crystal shakes her head. "Aren't those a myth?" And Ira kind of jokingly says, "Maybe they can help our friends get their memory back," as she motions to Rick. Kyrene only looks at Ira for a moment, and in that moment, Ira's expression changes. "Wait, what aren't you saying?"
Is it something that Cha might be able to pipe up and fill people in on? What's so dire about this?
Not really. You just know that
Never mind.
the only information you know is that Shadow Gates are ancient portal devices. That's all you know about them. And Kyrene shakes her head and she says, "I thought the one in Cascadia was the last of them. I thought I sealed all of them. Apparently I missed some." And Ira's face just turns to rage and she says, "Wait, you knew? You knew what happened to Rick? And you said nothing? Can it cure him? Can it bring back his memory? Tell us now." Crystal says, "Ira, calm down. I'm sure there's an explanation for all of this." Does anyone pipe up here?
Doesn't. Well, we don't hardly know what's going on in relation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you care to enlighten us? Because we still don't know what you're talking about.
And Ira says, it just says, "I think she owes us the truth. Don't you get it? She's been hiding something from us this entire time. Haven't you?"
Aren't we all hiding something from everybody? Everybody's hiding something from somebody.
I am not. Everything is hidden from me.
That only seems to heighten Ira's rage. Kyrie turns to look at Hyokun as he's just come into the tree line, and she says, "I'm so sorry." Hyokun seems to have this realization, and he says, "This is about Dad, isn't it?" And Kyrene nods slowly. And Hyokun just storms off, and Grisian follows closely behind him. And Ira storms off as well, with Kwoi following her.
Hang on. Let me
An
look
answer
something
has
up.
not been given. Can this restore memories?
Crystal sighs and says, "This is where your secrets end up. Every time." And
But that doesn't answer the original question, which is whether this has anything to do with the curse on these lands.
Kyrene shakes her head. "I suppose you're right, Crystal.
And you're certain?
I suppose you are right, Crystal. I suppose it is time to tell all. But not here. When we return to Almana, I will tell everyone the truth. As to your question, Soma, I can't tell you for sure. But it's possible. These things are evil.
Dang it, paralyzed only targets one.
Can they restore memories?
I don't know that either. The problem is it's possible, but I'm not sure it can. Again, these things are evil. There is a darkness about the Shadow Gates. You have no idea what it could do to Rick or to Agatha. It is not a risk that is worth taking, even to help our friends. Some risks are just too great.
Is that a decision for you to make?
I suppose it's not. And that is why I will tell everyone the truth of what I know about these things when we return to Almana.
Well,
That would be too late for if Rick or another wishes to use it.
No, it wouldn't. Make
Do you
me
have another?
a perception check.
Okay. Hidden or blind?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, the dice was just set on the table. Truly. It barely rolled.
You aren't sure, but you think she might know something that she's not saying?
Do you
That's
have
pretty
another?
obvious.
That is a question for when we return to Almana.
No, because if you do not, and we leave this one, it will be too late for those that might wish to use it.
Cha,
Do you have another?
you know that there are shadow gates all over the world.
Uh, Cha kind of speaks up. Well, not to butt in on your little whatever moment you guys have going on here, but I'd really like to know why you freaked out about this, and will it kill us? That'd be really helpful. Because I don't really plan on going to this funny little ranch you guys have, whatever it's called. Um, I'm just here to avoid terror, and be on my way. So I would love it if you could just stay out. It feels like all these other people would too.
Because they're connected to the void. The ancient ones are controlling them. They have been for years.
That doesn't really help us.
Yes,
That
this
doesn't explain.
answers none of the questions.
Yes, there's another one. And
Lots of
Crystal kind of realizes something, and she says, "The black door. You've known what that thing it was all along, haven't you? All these years." Kyrene just stares at her blankly.
For the record, Cha says as they kind of walk along, they kind of like meander about the tree line. For the record, there's more than just the one. Tons of them, all over the place. Just thought you'd like to know that.
Yes, and
Knowing of their
I thought I've sealed all of them. I was wrong. The mere fact that you
if
were able to activate that, she points to the stone pillar that Soma touched. There was also one in the Quartka Islands that the tribunal encountered.
if the others are sealed, can they be used, or are they paperweights?
I can unlock the seal on the black door.
But can anybody else?
And will you?
Only I can. If you really want to go through this risky endeavor to help Rick and Agatha, just be prepared. Because once I open that door,
Is it riskier to open that one versus using this one, where our life has all but abandoned?
it's risky opening either one.
But is the other where people are?
Crystal sighs and says, the other is deep in a cave. The dark vault cavern that connects the northern Almana to southern Almana. My friends in the tribunal found that one many years ago. And they asked her if she knew anything about it, and she said no. I suppose she's been lying. Again with your secrets. Soma, as this is going on, you feel this sense of sadness that it kind of seems to be emanating uh, from Zeal, your Ikone. But it doesn't really seem to be coming directly from Zeal. It seems to be coming more from your patron. This sense of sadness.
I pick Zeal up, just kind of cuddle him, but like waiting, see if there's anything to, feel if there's anything more.
Kyrene kind of locks eyes with you, Soma, and she approaches you carefully and slowly. And she says, "From the moment we met, there was something familiar about you. Though I couldn't quite place it, but watching you, I think it may not be you specifically, but a spirit connected to you. It may surprise you. I have had the ability to see and speak to spirits from the time I was a little girl. And there is definitely a spirit connected to you in some way. This is a gift or a curse. I haven't decided which as of yet. I've largely ignored or buried in recent years because it's brought nothing but grief."
Grief is not something I intend to bring to you, nor does the spirit that guides me.
There is something about the spirit that guides you that is familiar to me in some way. I can't quite place it. I see glimpses of her here and there. And she looks familiar. She looks... And in that moment, she kind of looks past you, and you could see a kind of sparkle in Kyrene's eyes. And she says, My mother? And that is where I'm going to end today's session. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank Bippy for joining us today. I hope you had a good time on your first foray in this group.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me. It was very fun meeting all the fun people of the hidden archives.
Indeed.
Shaw is great.
Thank you. Yes, I hope you all liked.
I'm very excited about them.
I was hoping that I was hoping that they didn't come off too rude and standoffish initially, because I know a lot of groups have trouble with specific party dynamics. So it was a little bit of a risk. So I'm glad you guys.
No, yeah,
I'm glad you guys
I'm
enjoyed
great. I love it that there's finally someone who doesn't go along with everything.
I feel that a lot of parties miss that, but a lot of the time parties don't want that, which is totally fair. Some people
Yeah.
prefer to have like a party that always works together and this and that. But I like having a little antagonism.
Okay.
So, to our audience, I want to give a little announcement before we go. We are hosting a special stream next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And this stream is going to be a bit different. This is going to have a completely different cast of characters, though a few of our players will be joining us, as well as a couple of new ones. Soma, L, and Firecat Ignis will be joining us. And also Jackie will be joining us as well for an episode that is going to be a playtest of the two new classes coming to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the Animist and the Exemplar. This episode is titled Terror in Depthara Trench. This will be taking place in the Ocean Kingdom, an area of Mystimon Saga that has not really been explored. It's not really been explored ever in this campaign in the past 10 seasons that we've been hosting it. So I hope you will all join us next week for Terror in Depthara Trench. And until then, we will be signing off here. I hope you enjoyed the second part of the Hilltop Valley Killer. We will be back for the third part of the Hilltop Valley Killer on
September 21st.
September 21st. Windows 11 likes to hide things. And it looks like I have to catch an errant cat. So let me stop this stream. See you all next week for Terror in Depthara Trench. Until then, signing off.